channel on YouTube that I want to start up that's on research and reporting, just an amateur journalism, so it's not professional at all. So one of the things that I've heard different things about in terms of fuel consumption with jet fuel, where is the jet fuel stored?
What do you mean?
Well,
In the airplane or in the,
yeah, right, on an airplane.
in the wings?
In the wings, okay. So what's the volume and the, I guess, the structural integrity of the wing? Because it would seem that it would have to be pretty.
Yeah, that would be more of an engineering.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get it. Because I mean, I know how to
what you
drive.
mean.
I know how to drive a car, but in terms of how the alternator works, I don't know.
No, I
Yeah.
know what you
Okay.
mean, though. That's a good question. That's more of it would be an engineering. Yeah. Because it's all.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
can I have you, I can't have you in this area while I'm deplaning.
Okay. All right. I was just having a real quick chat
I
with.
know, and this is more of a security issue.
Okay.
That's more of a concern.
Can you come out this way or?
A lot of times I can drop days are pretty flexible. Well, it's not that, but if you're tripping, awesome.
Thanks, I really appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, and one of the things that I've also heard is that I don't know if you've heard of discussions of chemtrails or contrails and the exhaust that comes out of airliners, at least from a distance. I mean, I've shot both. I've shot airliners that have exhaust that dissipates and disappears. I've had airliners that at least they look like airliners, but then their exhaust lasts all day and then spreads out and just covers the whole sky.
That's probably more of the first one's probably in line with the jet stream, so it gets blown out pretty quick. The second one, there's probably a little to no wind where it's at, so it just kind of stays.
So I've
Kind of condensation that just kind of stagnant. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
It takes a lot longer to.
Yeah. Because one of the things that I've observed in some of the videos that I've shot is that at least from a visual standpoint, when you look at the airliner, they look to be within the same altitude. You know what I mean? So they're about the same size visually. So you would think, oh, they're probably flying in the same altitude. So it would be interesting why one would last longer than the other. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it
One
just
of
depends on the wind. If that helps.
one of the other things that I've heard is that
What's that?
She said both laboratories involved in this. Is that an issue? She said it might be an issue for international.
Oh, I don't know. But I don't think so.
Okay. I thought it was just one. I didn't know both of them.
one of the other things that I've heard people say that's a possibility when they talk about the residual exhaust that remains in the sky after an airliner, someone has said, and it's just completely hearsay, right? But it's the result of fuel dumping. So what would be, I mean, do airliners dump fuel?
Some can. The bigger ones can, but that's.
Are they commercial or is that
Yeah,
more?
no, it's like a 747 or something it's so heavy that it has an emergency. It's got to land. It's got to dump the fuel.
So I guess my question would be, what is there a regulated height to where that's supposed to happen in terms of the safety of?
No, that's probably. I wouldn't know what it is, but I don't think so. It's just airplane's got an emergency, so it's going to do it.
So they've got to land. So they've got to have less weight
Yeah.
when they land in order to
So they'll
land
dump.
with stability.
A lot of these airplanes here, they can't dump gas. So
So the dumping of it though doesn't pose any threat. Like for instance, I'm just saying. For instance, I've got to dump fuel, but I'm going to be over a neighborhood. There's no concern about that, or whether or not it's over some place that's not going to have casualties, so to speak, quote unquote, or at least something that would be of concern for the health of people. Where I mean, is it in your mind, does the fuel just dissipate and just kind of break down into particles so small, or I mean, okay. In terms of flying from one location to another, say for instance, I flew from Baltimore to Phoenix today, and what's the distance off the top of your head in that? I just thought of like 1,500 miles, but I think that's maybe to Denver from Baltimore.
Baltimore to Phoenix, like 3,500.
3,500, really? Wow. Wow, that's huge. Okay. So my question has to do with, I guess, aerodynamics and physics. If you reach a certain cruising altitude, say 35,000 feet, right, and you level off, right, so that if you nose up, you're going to be ascending. If you nose down, you're going to be descending, so you level off, right? As you're traveling hundreds and hundreds of miles level, the Earth is falling away from you because it curves. But if you fly straight, following the
I
horizon...
just had someone ask me this question like 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. But you're not recording this, are you?
Well, I don't have you on camera, but yeah, I am recording it just so I have it for my reporting.
I'm not on camera though.
No, I have it pointed this way.
Okay.
I have it pointed this way. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to that. I just had someone ask me that.
That's interesting.
No.
Did he tell you why, or she tell you why?
No.
Okay. I mean, just think about the physics of it, though. I mean,
I know.
if the Earth is curved, right, and it falls away from you, and you fly on a level path, you're going to be flying higher and higher and away from the Earth.
Yeah. So the Earth is flat.
It's an interesting question to consider.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't argue with physics. Water doesn't bend.
Yeah.
Water doesn't curve, it's level. So, and when you think about it, okay, so here, just think about this, because one of the things is that you have pilots that say, yeah, I see the curve, or I've seen the curve. Well, I was flying from Phoenix to Denver. I had my camera out, and if you notice, like, if we look out here, okay, well, we'll just look out there into the distance. You can see the last vestiges of the buildings, and then maybe above there you can see a mountain range in the back, but that would be the horizon for us, and it's at our eye level, okay? So when you get into your next flight and you look out your cockpit window, just take a look out in front of your eyes and see where the horizon is. My guess is that when you're up at 45,000 feet, you won't have to look down to see the horizon. It's going to be straight in front of you. And the physics of that is that that's because the plane is extending, not the plane that you're flying, the plane of the Earth is extending in front of you. It doesn't drop. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to rise. It's just interesting physics. Interesting physics.
Yeah. That's funny you asked me that question.
So there's been a few people that have posted, videos where they come up after their flight and they go to the cockpit and they ask the pilot, "Hey, we just got a quick question. How do you guys account for the curvature of the Earth?" And most of them go, "We don't." But I think that that's an interesting tell to a certain extent, because you've got a gyroscope and you've got a false horizon that I would think is simple mechanics. It's not electronic. You don't need to program it. They might have programmed ones, but 80 years ago they didn't. They just had a mechanical false horizon. And that's how you determine what level was, right? And then if you just descend slowly, the level there, it's just right there in front of you, and you get to where you're going, right? It's just interesting stuff, right? All right. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Thanks. I forgot I was still recording when I was doing this, so I was just walking along thinking about the conversation. So I didn't see any of the chat. So I'm just going to stop the recording right now and look back and see what the chat was. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for checking in. Got 14 viewers. Thanks a lot. I will check with you guys later. Ciao.